What's up everybody, welcome back to Box. Today we're unboxing the EasySMX ESM-4108 Wireless Controller for Nintendo Switch and PC. So EasySMX actually sent me this to unbox and review. So that's what we're going to be doing. I do have an extra one for giveaway, so stay tuned for details on that at the end of the video. And yeah, so this comes in 9 different varieties. I have the black one. As you can see, the box it comes in is pretty plain. Got the model number, got the name of the company, game controller. So I'll be honest, I'd never heard of this company before until they reached out to me to do a unboxing and review for this controller. But it looks pretty cool in the pictures, so I'm hoping it's decent to use. We'll find out. And I also have a code for discount if you want to check the description below. Also, if you want to buy your own one, that'll also be in the description. Okay, so this is as it comes. You've got sign up and get a $10 voucher for your purchase. Different languages. Got a turbo button, so that's useful for certain stuff. Anyway, so it is an inbuilt battery. As you can see, it's very much in the style of the Switch Pro controller. Oh, these thumbsticks actually feel pretty nice. So I will test this on both Switch and PC after the video, or the back half of this video. But yeah, and I believe these light up. I wonder if it has any charge in it. I don't actually know how to turn it on either. Oh, there you go. You can see these light up, which is nice. You want a nice light up controller. I think there's ways you can even, reading the website, there's ways you can change the intensity backlight adjustment. 5 levels, so ZL, ZR, R3. Oh, there you go. So off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off, and then 4 different brightnesses for that. It even lights up around this thumbstick here, I think you can see. Kind of all on the right side, nothing on the left side, which is a little bit odd, I suppose, but I do really like these light up buttons though. Oh, I think that's the turbo button. And but yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. You get a USB-C cable, so it should charge pretty fast. I think it says 2 to 3 hours for a charge for 8 to 10 hours of usage. It connects to the PC via cable, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna go test all that stuff out now. But yeah, pretty simple unboxing. You get an instruction book, a cable, and a controller, which looks pretty nice if I do say so myself. It's also like textured grip on the back here, kind of more like the latest or the more recent Xbox One and Xbox Series SX controllers. The battery's not removable, obviously. It's just rechargeable. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with some pictures, and after those pictures I'll be back with my review of the controller. Alright, so here we are. We're on my Nintendo Switch. We're gonna go ahead and hook this controller up. So you gotta change grip order. Then I think we just press those two. Boom. So that was just home and Y, just held it down until it connected. We're gonna go play some Mario. So I'm throw these Joy-Cons back on the dock. Alright. So Super Mario 3D World.
Super Mario 3D World!
Meow.
Oh yeah, Mario time! Woohoo!
Do it. I mean, like, this controller's skip. Very responsive. There's no like input lag or anything, as far as I can tell. Ooh, what's it? But, you know. Whoa. Super Bell Hill.
Let's go!
Again, vibration. I have mine maxed out to the intense. Oh shit. Oh, I'm a cat. What can I do as the cat? Oh, I can attack and stuff. So I've never actually played this game before. How do I? Ooh, there we go. Oh no! I'm in a bell. Must be a cat. But I thought it'd be a decent game to test this controller out with, because it's, you know, fairly input dependent and stuff. So I guess that's a checkpoint. Can I chase this bunny? Come here, bunny. Oh. Hold it down, okay. I'm like, that's dashing? I thought it was... Is that Cat Goomba? Look at all these coins. But absolutely no issues with this controller at all. I will... So this will be right after I did the unboxing, but I'm actually recording this last. But after... I mean, I'll leave this playing in the corner, and we will we'll go into some of my impressions. Alright, we are back, and I have spent about a week now with this controller. Give it, 30-40 hours or so with it. To the point where my barcode has rubbed off the back with my thumbs. But yeah, like this controller, like the first thing I want to bring up right now is the price point of it. It is about 22 to 23 pounds or 31 to 33 dollars, depending on which variant you go for. There's a few different variants with the front. This is the only one that lights up though, as far as I can tell, and their shipping is free to a lot of places, which is also worth noting. Yeah, that price point is what I'm basing this review heavily off. because if this was the same price as, say, a Xbox One Elite controller or a Switch Pro controller, which is more in line with what this is aimed at, then I would say I might be a bit say it's not quite worth the money. But for that price point, this controller is incredible, I will say. It is, I mean, I'll go over the negatives real quick first. So when I first started using it, when I was, you push forward to like, and then click into sprint, initially I don't know if it's the way I was holding it, but I couldn't, it was tough trying to actually get it to like click in, versus what I'm used to using, which is kind of a, an Xbox Series controller, and the DualSense. Whoa, focus. You want to focus? But yeah, after a couple hours though, I got adjusted to it, and I was able to easily just sprint away and without it hurting my thumb anymore. The other thing I want to know is the D-pad is a little bit spongy compared with, say, the Switch Pro controller. The Switch Pro is more clicky, and then this, hopefully you can hear that, I don't know. It's more clicky, and then this one's more kind of spongy feel to it. It doesn't feel quite as nice. So if you're into like fighting games and stuff, I mean, I'm sure you've got a fight stick anyway, but I would not recommend this for that maybe. But I'm not a fighting game pro by any means. I'm no good at those games, so maybe it is good, I don't know. And the only other problem I have, which is also a problem I have with this Switch Pro controller, is the position of the minus button. The plus one's not too bad because it's the minus one. Like, for example, I've been playing Rise of the Tomb Raider with it. This is the main game I used to test this out with on my PC. Getting to the back button for like the map, you have to like lean over and get over the thumbstick to click it, which is the same issue obviously here with the Switch Pro controller. The plus one not so bad because these aren't as raised as a thumbstick. It's quite easy just to get over there. But I mean, I can't really say that's necessarily a bad thing with this controller because they followed the pattern of the Switch Pro controller. So it's kind of a mean thing to kind of pick it up for, because they've followed so people who are familiar with like the Switch Pro will be more familiar with that, and they're not going to be pressing the wrong buttons. The other downside, I guess, but it's not really a downside, it's more of a trade-off. You don't, like, obviously here this is the Switch Pro, that is the share button, but on here this is the turbo button, and the share button is a combination of buttons that I cannot remember off the top of my head right now. I think you got to press like those two and that or something, I can't remember exactly, but it's a combo of buttons, so you can still share captures and stuff with it, but it is a more convoluted button press. But what you do get is a fairly simple turbo function where you can easily just maybe it's not going to work because it's not connected to anything. Is that what this is? Yeah, possibly. But anyway, yeah, it was really simple to work out. You held the thing down, you press the button, it turboed stuff, and it worked really well. So if you're more interested in turboing stuff than sharing stuff, then this controller is actually better than the Pro controller in that regard. One other slight downside, in my opinion, is the lights are obviously super cool. I love how they light up for the colors, but I do wish, like, you see how it's lit up around the right thumbstick here? I do wish it would have lit up around the left thumbstick too, but maybe that would have added too much to the cost to get the lights, across the board to the left side. I don't know, but aesthetically it just looks like a controller of two halves. Like, one's just like off and then one's on. But again, very minor complaint there. But I mean, in general, I have a lot of pros with this. I do really like the lights. That is a plus. The texture grip on the back, I do love that. It feels nice in the hand. It's very much comparable to kind of the Switch Pro controller. I guess it's kind of halfway between a Switch Pro and an Xbox controller. You can kind of see that. There are three of them in there. So it's kind of like it's not quite the shape of an Xbox One. It's not quite the shape of that one, but it's kind of like these two had a baby in terms of the shape, and it feels really nice in the hand. The rumble is actually a huge feature that I want to cover with this controller. It is adjustable, so you get various can't remember the combo off the top of my head, but there's a button combo to do. You hold and then you can adjust the intensity, the velocity of the rumble. It is you can have it off, you can have it light, medium, or high. I'm a sucker for like a harsh rumble, so I had mine on max when I was playing, but you know, I know people don't like vibration at all, so you can easily just turn that off. If you just want a little bit, you can have it lighter intensity, all that kind of thing. So that is a feature that I was really surprised when I read that in the instruction book, that it's here. Like, that's something that I think other controllers, even like the more, you know, the high end, your Xboxes, your DualSenses and stuff, I think that'd be really cool if added as a feature. Obviously you can turn vibration off completely in like your system settings and things, but being able to adjust the intensity of it, I think, is a really nice, user-friendly, accessible type of thing to add. So that, I think, is probably my highlight of this controller, that possibly maybe people might overlook, but it is actually really cool. The lights, again, they are adjustable. You can adjust the light intensity. Alright, I want to grab the instructions real quick. So it's ZL, ZR, R3, and then D-pad up or down. So hopefully you guys can see that. 5 different options, it seems like. So you got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 options off, and then the vibration actually has 5 different options available, and that one's simply turbo plus, up, down. It doesn't seem to want to work at the moment, probably because I'm not connected to something for it. But that vibration function was really cool. And in terms of connection to the PC was fine. I used it wired. It does have Bluetooth, so if your computer supports Bluetooth, maybe you could get it to work. I'm not 100% sure on that. I didn't try it myself. I used it wired, and it worked for me flawlessly through. The majority of what I played was on PC through a wired connection. I played a little bit on Switch I played a little bit of the Layton Mystery and Zelda Breath of the Wild with it via the wireless functionality, which again was super simple to set up via the by following the instruction book. And again, flawless, worked no problem. Now it's not explicitly advertised in the title of the controller, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway. I did try it out on Android, and more specifically xCloud. It connected to my phone, but then when I loaded up xCloud, the buttons weren't doing what they were supposed to. For example, if I held up on the thumbstick, my guy would go down. If I pressed left trigger, it would do what left bumper was meant to do, and then left bumper seemed to do nothing. Whatever left trigger was meant to do, I couldn't figure out what button it was. So the button assignment seemed completely off. So in terms of wanting this maybe to use as a cheap option for on-the-go gaming with like xCloud and stuff, I'd say no. What else haven't I covered? Yeah, the sticks are they feel really good. It's really easy to get like slight movements on them, but also really easy. Doesn't feel too hard to get all the way. It's like that nice sweet spot that you really want with thumbsticks, where they're not too loose, but they're not too tight, and they're nice enough to move around. The other point, this isn't so much a pro or a con, I think it's something worth pointing out. So with the Switch Pro controller, which obviously this is mainly a Switch controller that works with PC, but I mean I used it mainly with PC because that's where I was playing at the time. But with the Switch Pro controller, these triggers are more of a button click. They're either on or off, on, off. Whereas This controller is a trigger, much like, you know, an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, you know, where it you can have gradual movements on it. So for like a racing game or something, I think this controller is probably better than the Switch Pro, which is kind of surprising, but obviously that's more of a personal preference thing, how you want your triggers. The way it feels, like I said, it for the price point, it feels really nice. It doesn't feel horrible to hold. It feels nice enough. It serves its purpose. It works perfectly well, but it doesn't quite feel as premium as, say, the Switch controller. Just the Switch controller has that little bit more weight to it. It feels it just feels more quality than this one. Same goes for the Xbox controller. Same goes for the DualSense controller. But again, all three of these controllers cost double, triple the price of this thing, which is why I brought up right at the beginning of this section the price point of this controller, which is what I think this controller is perfect for. Is the more kind of a backup controller, maybe your controller dies and you wanted you want a cheap one while you're waiting to get money together for a newer one, or you're waiting for it to be repaired, or whatever. Or maybe you're a more casual gamer that doesn't really care too much about the high-end features and stuff of, you know, your Xbox controller, your Pro controller. Or maybe you can't afford it right now, but you still want to be able to play games. Again, this is the one to look at on a budget. It is also USB-C, forgot to point that out. So much like all of these controllers I've showed off in the thing, the Xbox, the Pro, the Switch Pro, the DualSense, all USB-C. Your latest smartphone probably is, if it's an Android. Obviously, Apple have their own charging dealio. And I think that just about covers everything I wanted to cover. So, quick recap. What's the word? Summary. That's the word I want. It's this. If you're gaming on a budget, I'd say this is probably one of, if not the best controller you can pick up. Like I said, it's $33 max, depending on which variant you get. You can get it. This one in particular is only $30.99. It's like 21-ish pounds. The place offers free shipping to a ton of places. There's 9 different variants I think you can get, although one seems to be sold out right now. I don't know if they're bringing those back. But so in terms of choice as well, if you don't want plain black with some lights, you can get something else that looks cool. You can get kind of a matrixy looking one, a kind of spooky looking one. But hey, another really good audience for this, I think, would be parents with children. They don't want to give their children an expensive, you know, controller because they're likely to break it. They're not quite as careful with it. So again, cheap controller, easy. I mean, I don't think this would break any more easily than any other controller. It's very, very sturdy. There's no removable battery pack, so they're not going to choke on that or anything, as far as I can tell. I mean, I'm not a safety person, so make sure you read the instructions on that. And yeah, like I said, gaming on a budget, I have not found a controller as good as this. If you have unlimited budget, you want a more hardcore gamer, for your PC, I would still recommend an Xbox controller. For your Switch, I would still recommend the Switch Pro controller. And my camera, I apologize for the focus today. But yeah, I mean, like I said, definitely, like, I don't want to give it a score out of 10 because I feel with controllers and anything with this kind of huge price band, where, you know, a $60 game is a $60 game. A controller, there's so many different varieties of price point and stuff for what they are, and I think giving it a score would be a bit unfair. But for the price point, I would give this a solid 8 or 9, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. And like I said, if you're looking for a cheap controller, look no further. If you're looking for a backup controller, look no further. There is no microphone port on it, I will point that out, so if you need that for whatever reason, but, you know, Switch obviously doesn't support that, I don't think, and then PC, I'm sure you've got your other means. Yeah, like I said, feels great, works great. What more do you want? Yeah, I think that about wraps up everything I wanted to cover with this controller. So if you are interested in picking this up, I've got the link in the description below to the product page. You can also get a discount with the code, also found it in the description. And yeah, I mean, I highly recommend checking one of these bad boys out if you do want a cheap controller for whatever reason. I would honestly like to see a similar style controller for Xbox as a spare controller. I'm not sure if they do those or not, but it'd be very interesting to see. Yeah, so make sure to give me a thumbs up if you did like the video. Hit that subscribe button wherever that may be. If you want to see some more content, hit the bell if you want to know when that goes live. Like I said, check out the description if you want to find out more about this controller. If you want to buy it, make sure to use that code that's in there too to save yourself a little bit more money. But like I said, you don't really need to save much money with this. It's already super cheap and well worth. You definitely get more. I'd say this controller is worth more than the price point that is being sold at. So that is my review. So I hope you guys are all staying safe. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're all enjoying whatever you're gaming, wherever you're gaming, with whatever you're gaming with. And I'll see you guys next time.